Imagine a president whose anger was so explosive, whose hunger for power so ruthless, that even America's founding fathers whispered warnings about him. This was Andrew Jackson, the man who rose from dirt floors and deadly duels to sit in the most powerful chair in the world. But his rise wasn't a triumph. It was a tornado. Everywhere he went, someone bled, someone suffered, someone lost. He didn't just challenge enemies, he destroyed them. He bent laws, crushed tribes, silenced critics, and reshaped a nation using fear like a weapon. Jackson wasn't dangerous because he was strong. He was dangerous because nothing could stop him, and the scars he carved into America still ache today. Jackson's rage was born early. As a child on the Carolina frontier, he lost his entire family to war. Brothers dead, mother buried before he could say goodbye. That grief hardened him into a man who feared nothing and forgave no one. When he became a young lawyer in Tennessee, he didn't argue cases, he fought them. He brawled in streets, whipped men in court, and carried grudges like ammunition. He gambled, dueled, stabbed, and shot his way into power. People didn't just respect him, they feared him. Jackson learned one rule: if someone stands in your way, remove them. That rule would soon become national policy. Jackson's life was stained with gunpowder and blood. He fought more duels than any president in U.S. history, over 100. The most infamous came in 1806, when a single insult against his wife triggered a deadly showdown. Jackson was hit first. A bullet lodged inches from his heart, but he didn't fall. He calmly aimed and killed his opponent. That cold, unshaking rage stayed with him forever. He beat rivals with canes, slashed men in taverns, and even ordered soldiers executed without hesitation. This was the man America later trusted with its highest office, a leader whose first instinct was violence. As a general, Jackson's brutality became legendary. In 1814, at Horseshoe Bend, he led U.S. forces in a massacre so horrific that even his own men were shaken. Hundreds of Creek people, warriors, women, and children, were slaughtered, their lands stolen in the aftermath. His victory at New Orleans made him a hero, but the truth was darker. He imposed martial law, jailed innocent citizens, and ignored the Constitution. Jackson didn't defend freedom, he suspended it. He believed victory justified anything, even tyranny. And when he tasted national fame, he set his sights on something bigger: the presidency. Once in the White House, Jackson rewrote the rules of American power. He fired thousands of government workers and replaced them with his loyal followers, not because they were qualified, but because they worshipped him. It was the birth of political corruption on a national scale. But his most chilling act came in 1830, the Indian Removal Act. Disguised as helping native tribes, it was actually a brutal land grab. Treaties were broken, families uprooted, and entire nations forced to march toward death. Jackson saw Native Americans not as people, but as obstacles to be erased. When the Supreme Court ruled to protect Cherokee land, Jackson didn't just disagree, he ignored the law completely. His message was clear: the president answers to no one, and with one decision, he doomed thousands. What followed became one of the darkest chapters in American history: the Trail of Tears. 15,000 Cherokee were forced from their homes, marched through freezing cold, starving, dying by the thousands. Children froze in their mothers' arms. Elders collapsed on the roadside. Jackson wasn't president during the march, but it was his law, his policy, his legacy. He built the road. Others walked it to their graves. Even beyond native removal, Jackson's danger infected every part of America. He owned over 100 enslaved people and expanded slavery's reach. He censored abolitionist mail, silenced free speech, and destroyed the national bank in a personal vendetta that triggered economic collapse. The Panic of 1837 left families homeless, hungry, and ruined. all consequences of a single man's pride. Today, his face sits on the $20 bill, but behind that iconic stare lies a story of violence, racism, and unchecked power. Andrew Jackson didn't just lead America, he scarred it, and his legacy stands as a warning. When a nation mistakes brutality for strength, the price is always paid in innocent lives. But Jackson's obsession with control didn't end with politics. It consumed his personal life as well. He ruled his plantation, the Hermitage, like a kingdom built on suffering. Enslaved men, women, and children labored from dawn till midnight under brutal punishment. Jackson personally ordered whippings, chained people for minor mistakes, and sold families apart without hesitation. He preached honor publicly, but practiced cruelty privately. His wealth, fame, and power were built on the backs of people who weren't allowed to speak, to rest, or to dream. Behind the heroic myths, there lived a man who prospered through pain. Pain he never once questioned. Even after leaving office, Jackson's shadow stretched across America. Politicians visited him for advice, newspapers spread his opinions, and young leaders shaped their careers under his violent example. His ideas fed a growing arrogance inside Washington, a belief that the president could act above the Constitution, above the courts, above the people. Jackson didn't just damage his own era, he weakened the balance of American democracy for generations. His legacy whispered a dangerous message. Power belongs not to law, but to the strongest hand. It was a seed that future leaders would water again and again. Yet for all his brutality, Jackson remained a symbol many admired. A man of the people, a war hero, a fighter who never bowed. And that is the real tragedy. His worst actions were hidden behind patriotic stories and schoolbook glory. Millions learned only half the truth. The other half, the suffering, the fear, the death, was buried beneath monuments and money bills. Today, historians dig through the ruins of his choices, uncovering a legacy soaked in contradictions. Jackson showed America how one man's unchecked anger can shape a nation, and how a nation can choose to forget the cost.